What's up, YouTube? So, check this out. I read this book, this one, and it changed my entire life. Helped me emotionally, helped me mentally, helped me physically, and I became obsessed with it and learned the ways of the instructor by taking a certification course. Anyway, I have been going back and forth with different ways to, spread this knowledge to those who are interested because it's been life changing for me personally. So I'm passionate about trying to share it for those that are interested. So what I did is I had a Zoom call with two of my clients, one of my colleagues, and my dad. And I basically put them through a 10 exercise breathwork session. It takes about an hour, but this 60 minutes, a little less than an hour, could maybe be something that completely changes your entire life because it's definitely that for me. So, hope you enjoy. Right off the bat, as some of you already know, a huge overlying proponent of functional breathing is nasal breathing, nasal only breathing, in and out. It's been fascinating for me to learn about this and then come back to the society we live in where there's no real set system taught, and we're told in through the mouth, into the nose, out through the mouth a lot, for relaxation techniques and things like that. But there's so many chemical things at play when you go in and out through the nose exclusively. So I'll just kind of leave it at that. I want to stay away from the science for the most part. Tongue posture and spinal posture is the first exercise. So we're all seated right now. Tongue posture essentially is the tongue should be on the roof of your mouth. That's its natural resting position. If you make the noise right before you make that noise, notice how like about 75 or 80% of your tongue is actually touching the roof of your mouth. That is what you want as your natural resting position. And then you bring your attention to your spinal posture, which, that's just, straight back, chin tucked, right? Like a string's pulling from the top of your head. So you elongate your whole spine. All right. So that's our basic starting point, because if you have poor posture, it actually limits the ability to breathe deeply, which we're about to get into. So the very first thing we do here is we measure BOLT, what's called BOLT, blood oxygen level test. It's a little bit subjective, so you guys have to kind of all do this on your own. I'll use the timer on my end. What's going to happen is you're going to breathe in through your nose, normal. You're going to breathe out through your nose, normal. You're going to pinch your nose. So there's a breath hold involved here, and it's after the exhalation. So you pinch your nose, and what we are looking for is the amount of seconds it takes to get a reaction from your brain to your body. It's going to be likely different for all of you, so don't worry about what anyone else is doing. And what that reaction is going to feel like is you'll do one of three things. You'll swallow, right? You will have a neck muscle contraction, kind of one of those things, or you'll feel it in your belly. Your belly will contract. You'll be, kind of hear that noise, and you could easily keep holding your breath. All of you are competitive human beings. You could push past it, but it's not a test of how long you can hold your breath. It's a test of how long it takes for your brain to send that signal. So you're looking for that signal of a reaction. All right. So let's all try to get on the same page as far as in and out. So I'll do a couple in and outs, and then I'll tell you when to hold your breath. And that's when I'll start the timer. And then what'll happen is when each of you individually unpinches your nose, I'll tell you how many seconds we're on the clock at that moment. Okay. So let's go in through the nose, use my hand as our guide of breath. So we're going to go in is upwards, 2, 3, 4, nice and relaxed. Out, 2, 3, 4, slow. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4, and pinch. Just started the timer. Matter of fact, I'll do you all one better. I'll just hold it right here. Your goal is relaxation. You don't want that reaction to happen, but it's coming. All right, so pops around 11. All right, any sort of contraction, yep. Good. Mark, you've been practicing, huh? Holy shit. Don't be cheating on me. Oh, look at that. Breathe. All right, that's all right. So you all kind of saw where you're at. Looked like Pops around 11 or 12, Chula around 17, 18, Taru maybe 20, Mark, apparently you're Superman. I don't know what's going on there. You got maybe in the mid 20s. All right, good job, man. So that's our Bolt score. That's the first thing you want to measure as where you're at on this whole spectrum, just so for context. 25 is the level of where we want to get to as like, I'm a normal person. I want to breathe functionally and be healthy. 40 is where you want to get to if you're trying to be elite. And that could take years. So that's context. 20 is a good place to be. Below 20 typically means that we need to like work on our day-to-day breathing. When I first did this test, I think I was at like 15, right? You know, there's elite athletes that are in the low teens. You know, there's no exclusivity here. Being in good shape doesn't mean you have good breathing patterns. All right, next test, you're gonna have to get up for this one. So this is called the maximum breathlessness test. So it's very similar to the last test in that you breathe in through the nose, you breathe out through the nose, you pinch your nose. But now instead of counting seconds, you're gonna count how many casual steps you can take before you need to breathe. Okay, so this one is you can kind of push past that initial like, you know, you can keep walking. All right. But if you at the end of this test, you're like, okay, I can't take any more steps. If you unpinch your nose and you breathe through your mouth because you need that much air, then you went too far. Okay, so no matter what, at the end of this test, when you unpinch, make sure you can catch your breath with your nose. All right, so we don't need to set this one up at all. Whenever you're ready, breathe in through your nose, normal. Breathe out through your nose, normal. Pinch and start walking and counting your steps until you need to breathe. Your goal is to relax. If you guys wouldn't mind just popping your number into the group chat there so I can record it. All right, good shit, fellas. So those are our two main forms of testing. Now we can get into the actual work. All right. So
yeah, I was 20. I can't find the chat.
All right, all good. Thank you. Mark, nice job. 26. All right. So exercises 1 and 2 was the Bolt score test. 2, the maximum breathlessness test. So this next round of exercises is essentially teaching you how to breathe functionally. I'm not breathing functionally right now because I'm talking, I'm blabbing. As a coach, it's very, very challenging to talk a lot and loudly. Chula, as you know, by the end of the day, you're fucking shot. You're in fight or flight mode all day. It takes so much out of you. So what I've been doing as I've learned these, functional breathing techniques is I've built in breath holds after coaching sessions to even myself out. Ideally, I'd be planning out days of my week, if not weeks, in advance, that I don't have to coach 1 hour because I'm going to focus on breathing functionally all day long, simply because I have never felt better in my entire life. So that's just a little bit of context. Breathe light. We'll break this down to 3 categories. Our overarching principle is nasal. It's not that simple though. Okay. There's 3 main pillars that make up functional breathing. The first pillar is what's called biochemistry. Okay. We can equate that to light breathing. So light breathing means, simple analogy, imagine there's a feather underneath your nose and you're breathing so lightly that feather doesn't even rustle. As you inhale, right, you're not pulling that feather up into your nose. And as you exhale, you're not making it flap in the wind. All right, so we're going to take about 90 seconds right now and simply focus on our own breath being light. Key component is going to be your tongue posture, your back posture. One of the things that's been profound for me to come to understand is the harder you pull air in to your nose and the harder you pull air into your lungs, the less oxygen you get. It's a complete mind fuck. When you breathe less air, your body learns to become more oxygenated. You become more efficient. There's a reason why living at high altitude has been proven to make you a more efficient breather, right? So we learn to breathe lightly, aka take in less air, then you're automatically breathing overall a lower volume, which is going to teach your body the feeling of breathlessness. That's the goal. You should feel like you want to take in more air. You know, you're taking that air in. You could keep going, but don't. And just relax on the exhale. Think of your lung as a balloon. As you fill that balloon on your inhale, you don't need to use any effort to exhale. Do not push that air out. Let that balloon deflate on its own accord. That's how you activate the parasympathetic nervous system and you start to rest and digest. You think more critically. You have more blood flow to your brain. Okay, so that's pillar one, light breathing. Call that biochemistry. Pillar two, biomechanics. Now we get into diaphragmatic breathing. So at first it's just, not taking in a lot. But now where's that air going? So a simple exercise here is put one hand on your chest and one hand just above your navel. As you breathe inward, which hand moves? As you breathe outward, which hand moves? All right. If we are breathing diaphragmatically, our top hand, the chest hand, should not move at any point in time. We want that air to go directly to our diaphragm, which is in our lower abdomen. All right. So here's a good visual that the guy who taught me used, and I found it very, very helpful. Put your, I'm just going to switch my mic for a second. Can you all give me a thumbs up? You can still hear me? Put your hands on either side of your ribs. Okay, I want you to feel your own ribs. One thing that confused me and that got me out of whack a little bit was when I always put my hand on my tummy, you can kind of push your tummy out. You kind of flex your diaphragm. That's not what this is about. This is about breathing efficiency and not using any extra energy. So if you feel your rib cage right now, right, when you breathe into your diaphragm, it expands forward, backward, and left and right. It's a ball that moves in all four directions at the same time. So if you feel your rib cage, right, you breathe in, those rib cage bones should slowly expand. And as you breathe out, your ribs should slowly come back in, right? So you can start to feel that, and you should feel no movement of your chest, right? No trap movement, no chest movement, simply diaphragmatic breathing, all right? That's pillar number two. So we've got our biochemistry, light breathing, our biomechanics, low breathing, right? That's what it means to breathe deeply. When someone says take a deep breath, what do? That's not a deep breath. Well, it might have been, but really that's a big breath. People confuse depth with volume. Okay, depth by definition should mean lower, right? Lower, not more, right? The third pillar, and what ties this all together, is cadence. Okay, the rate at which you breathe. So if you're breathing lightly and you're breathing low, how many breaths are you taking per minute? Okay, and it's been proven that we want to be breathing what they say 5.5 to 6 breaths per minute. So to keep it simple, we say 6 breaths per minute, which means 1 breath in every 10 seconds. And the cadence that they teach is 4 seconds in, 5 seconds out, 1 second pause. That's our natural pause. All right. So let's do that for 1 full minute. We'll do 60 seconds of functional breathing, tying everything together. So that means light, obviously through the nose, light, low, and now at this cadence. All right. So I'll talk us through this. It's going to be 4 in, 5 out, 1 pause. Ready? And let's go in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause. In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause. In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause. In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause. Last one. In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause. See if you can continue that. Question. Yeah.
What does it mean if I swallowed right before that last breath?
That means you're creating breathlessness for yourself. You're not used to breathing at this rate. So you are, when you breathe light, low, and at this slow of a rate, which is not what you're used to, your brain is telling you to take in more air, and you're just deciding consciously not to give it to it. So those breathing, feeling that swallow is a good thing, because that means you are creating breathlessness. The key at getting better at this breathing is by living, essentially intentionally living in a state of breathlessness by light, low, and slow breathing, which over time builds up your tolerance to carbon dioxide. And then it becomes easier and easier and easier to breathe this light and this low. Then you couple in, how you're breathing during your training, and then the breath hold exercises that we're about to get started with. And that's how you can start jumping up your Bolt score and your maximum breathlessness test. And you'll see the results there, but you'll feel it, man. You'll fucking feel it. Like, hopefully all of you right now feel calm, composed. You could think strategically if you so decided to. You could be creative if you decided to. You could flip a switch and start a workout if you wanted to. You're ready. You're at a neutral mind state right now. You think about the gears of a car as an analogy to our brains. I think it's a fantastic analogy, because when you're in first or second gear, you can't jump to fifth gear. You've got to rev the engine and then go to third gear, right? You want to downshift. You got to control your pace, and you got to downshift. And even then, the engine is revved and it has to control itself. When you're in neutral, you could jump into whatever gear you fucking want. You could flip it into reverse, right? And take steps back if you need to. You could jump into fifth gear and fly, You can't hear me? Did you? Oh shit. Toru, can you still hear me? Mark?
I can't hear you.
You're just a little dicey.
I can hear you now.
I now can hear you.
You got a little dicey?
Yeah.
Whatever. I made an analogy about fucking cars. Anyway, let's move on. Supine position, light breathing with book weight. Okay, so for this, guys, I want you to grab something with a little bit of weight, ideally like a book. So try to find something nearby that's somewhat book shaped, something flat. All right. This is to make sure that you have diaphragmatic breathing down for real. All right. Because feeling it a couple times is one thing, but your subconscious brings you back to what you're used to. I guarantee there's some chest breaths happening right now. All right. So what we're going to do, Chula, supine position better than anyone here. We're going to line our back. Okay. and our feet are going to be flat on the ground. You don't have to make your camera face me. We're going to do this for 60 seconds, okay? So get yourself into supine position where you're on the back, on your own back, and your feet are flat on the ground, which means your knees are bent up. All right? I'll talk a little louder, so if you guys are further from your screen, you can still hear me. Don't worry about me seeing you. I don't need to see you for this. It's only going to be a minute. So you're in your supine position, and you're going to take your weight and put it right above your belly button. Put it right on your navel. And now let your hands rest by your side and do your best to completely relax your entire body. When I first really thought about this, it blew my freaking mind. That thing on your stomach has weight. To lift weight, you have to use a muscle. Your diaphragm is a muscle. So as you breathe into your diaphragm, it will move that book. Yet, you do not have to tense a single muscle of your body other than your diaphragm, but you don't use, this isn't a core exercise. Do not squeeze your core. As you breathe in, that book slowly moves upward. As you breathe out, that book slowly moves downward. Okay, this is a great environment to create breathlessness for yourself, because as that book reaches the bottom, aka you finish your exhale, maybe you wait a couple seconds before you take that next inhale. Maybe you just kind of live in that uncomfortable yet completely relaxed state. All right, do your best to keep that breathing light, so you don't need to take any loud breaths. But this is low breathing. If you're moving that book up and down and your chest is completely still, then you're breathing exclusively through your diaphragm. And that is exactly where we want to be breathing about 100% of the time. When you start to train and we need more air because of the training that we're doing, you're still going to breathe into your diaphragm first, but then you're going to take in more air and it'll work its way up to your chest. But still, it should come into the diaphragm first. All right, hopefully you guys felt that pop up. All right, now from a standing position is this next exercise. All right, we're going to do breath with movement. Okay, breath with movement. So instead of doing a breath hold, we're going to do a body weight squat. All right, body weight squat. And on the way down, we'll be exhaling. Okay, so it's going to be a super slow motion squat. Your job and your goal is to focus on tying all these breathwork concepts together through the nose, through the lower belly, light, and then I'll give you your cadence. So we're all at the top of our squat. Let's take a breath in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, and then in, 2, 3, 4, and now slowly come down into a squat. 5, 4. When I hit 1, you should be at the bottom of a squat. 2, 1, hold it, and then slowly in as you come up. 2, 3, 4. At the top of your squat now, you should have a breath of air in your lung. Now down. 2, 3, 4, 5. So on the way down, hold it there. You should be fully exhaled, very uncomfortable. Now start to come in. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Focus on posture. In. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Tongue posture, spine posture. In. 2, 3, 4. And relax at the top here. All right. Good shit. So ground contact, all that coaching shit, how to do a squat form, it's all there. But can you breathe functionally, right, at this pace as you start to pick up your work rate? All right. We're going right into a breath hold warm up here. All right. We're about 3 exercises away from turning this thing up quite a bit here. So 15-step breath holds at a resting but standing position. Breathe functionally. Breathe normally. In and out through the nose. Light, low, 4, 5, 1 ideally. If you have to go a little slow, faster than that, it's okay. Do what you're comfortable with. But this is your baseline. You're at rest right now. So when we finish our breath holds, you need to come back to this, what you are doing right now, as quickly as possible. So when you finish that breath hold, you're going to want to unpinch and do something like that. And it's going to be uncomfortable, but what I'm asking you to do is something like this. Right? You're better off taking bigger breaths, but less of them than doing any sort of hyperventilation. Okay? So, and then you bring yourself back to where you're at right now at the end. So these should be moderate to easy for pretty much all of us. All right? So let's all go in through our nose, out through our nose, pinch our nose, walk 15 steps. Maybe 7 away, 7 back, 8 back, whatever. 15 steps. When you come back, unpinch and breathe normally. So that should be moderate to easy. All right, we're warming our body up for some not so moderate and not so easy shit because y'all are savages. All right, let's go one more functional breath. And whenever you're ready, take an inhale, take an exhale, pinch, and get another set of 15 steps in. Learn to relax in this state. All right, what we're doing right now is we are putting our body in a state of hypoxia. Sounds like a fucking science word. It is. All it really means is you're building up carbon dioxide in your blood. It's uncomfortable. When you stop providing oxygen, there's CO2 buildup. And if you've always been over breathing, that's going to suck. But as you do more of this, it sucks less and less. And the cognitive benefits of this and the emotional benefits of this are fucking amazing. They really are. All right, whenever you're ready, let's get that third set. 15 steps. Your goal is to walk with good walking form. Your arms should be relaxed. They've done studies, plenty of this on this subject. And for whatever reason, sets of 5 seem to be the key with these breathwork exercises. Your body starts to make adaptations by 3. On that third set, maybe you start to feel like, all right, I think I'm starting to get this. On the 5th set, you'll have it down. All right. Whenever you're ready, get that 4th set in. Bring yourself back to your baseline. Where you were before we started this is where you're trying to get to right now. If you're breathing into your chest, all right, that's okay, but bring it back. Bring it back to that low, diaphragmatic, light, right? Imagine the analogy. There's a feather under your nose. Shouldn't be flapping in the wind. Give yourself another breath or two and hit that 5th set. All right, good work. All right, and as you guys recover your breathing now in the standing position, just give you one little tidbit. You know, this is kind of tied to what I said earlier about what was so profound for me to come to understand about breathing less equals more oxygen. You think about if you take don't do it right now, but if I take a big breath in through my nose to the point where I snore, right? That noise happens. Why? Because the amount of air coming in that passageway is making the passageway itself contract, right? Because it's not meant to take that much air in. Whereas when you breathe lightly where you can't hear it, as all of you are right now, that passageway widens because what's flowing through it is moving slower and smoother. So you're literally opening up your airway by breathing less and breathing slower. All right. So we're going to crank it up a notch a little bit. All right. We've got 3 more sets here, guys. So stay with me. This next set is now the same exercise as our maximum breathlessness test. You breathe in, you breathe out, you pinch. How many steps can you take? This is where you can start to push it. But we also introduce something new with this. At the end of the set, this is crucial, okay, to teach your body to live in hypoxia, right? Not forever, but to get used to it now until you build up your tolerance to carbon dioxide. At the end of your breath hold, you do 6 breaths of minimal breathing. So you all did around in the 20s, right, for your test. Maybe you get 25, maybe you get 30, maybe you get 35 on this first set. At the end of that set, you're going to want to breathe a lot of air. But to force our bodies to get used to this hypoxia, when we unpinch, we take in a little, hold that, relax. Your body's going to be like, gimme, gimme, gimme. You're going to take in a little, hold that, relax. Don't do as much as your body tells you you want to. Do as little as you can for 6 breaths, okay, at the end of the breath hold, then return to functional breathing. All right, so we prolongate that hypoxic effect. So whenever you're ready, breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your nose, and see if you can beat your score from earlier of your step count. Relax. If there's any contractions, let it happen, but you can keep pushing through it. It's all about relaxation. All right, 6 breaths, minimal breathing. After those 6 breaths of minimal breathing, you return to functional breathing. Light, low, and slow. For whatever reason, I don't know exactly why, actually pinching your nose when you do these exercises really helps. When you have those contractions, it's just easier to keep yourself in check and not let any little bit of air, come in or out. And it also helps pool nitric oxide in your nose, which is literally one of the most profound and helpful chemicals that we could produce for ourselves for a number of reasons. Nice, Mark. You jumped that up to 35. Good shit. You guys don't have to record this if you don't want to. This is something you want to have in mind. For context, and you guys should all be focusing on functional breathing. Back to functional breathing now at this point. We're going to do another set in a second here. What you should have in mind with shit, I forgot my train of thought. It's okay. Oh, right. You were in the 20s for the MB maximum breathlessness test. Like I said, Bolt score, we want to get to 25 as a functional human. We want to get to 40 as an elite athlete. Maximum breathlessness test, we want to get to 60. 60 steps. Okay. Don't let that discourage you. When I first did this, I think I was in the teens as well here. The other day, my first attempt at a maximum breathlessness test, I got 60. That was my first time ever getting it. I've been practicing this for, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 months at this point. So it's a slow build, but you hopefully you guys will probably feel the effects already. So whenever you're ready, let's go into that second set of step count with minimal breathing at the end of the set for 6 breaths. Make sure you're keeping the pace of your walk the same as before. Stay relaxed. Push through some contractions. Teach your body how to suppress those contractions. Through relaxation, you can suppress that. Good. 6 breaths, minimal breathing at the end of your set. Good. If it helps, feel your ribs. Make sure those are expanding first. If you have to pull air into your chest for a couple breaths, that's okay, but you want to minimize that. As quickly as you can now, let's get back to functional breathing. Light, low, and slow. Tongue posture and back posture is always crucial with functional breathing. All right, most of you guys beat your score from the first to second set, yeah? All right, get competitive with yourself here. There's a little bit of a gray area here, because if you don't, and this is partly on me, but if you don't fully recover back to functional breathing from one set to the next, there's a chance you go down, right? Like say you got 40 on this last one, but you're not fully recovered before the next, you might only get 30 because of that factor. That's fine. As long as you're putting your body into a hypoxic state, then we are doing good. All right. So whenever you're ready, let's hit that third set. Nice. Relax. If you need to wiggle something, wiggle your toes. Wiggle your toes. Don't tense up your arms. Don't tense up your chest. Definitely try not to tense up your belly. All right. If you feel that need to kind of start shaking around, right? We're talking about sport. That shows weakness. All right. You need to wiggle something, wiggle your toes. You need to clench something, clench your taint. Clench that butthole tight. All right. No one can see that. All right. The dude who's ittery and jittery, oh man, like I'm freaking, I'm trying to catch my breath. Nah, man. The dude standing right next to you, wiggling his toes and clenching his butt is about to take your lunch money, dude. You guys could be at the same exact level of fitness. Now it turns into that mind game, right? So the protocol here is after those 6 breaths of minimal breathing, 12 to 18 breaths of functional breathing. So that's roughly 2, sometimes 3 minutes of breathing in between each set. I'm not giving that to you guys. So again, take these with a grain of salt. If your scores don't jump up, that's okay. This is technically more beneficial to keep going while you're not fully recovered yet, as long as you keep it in context, okay? All right, so whenever you're ready, let's hit that 4th set. Relaxation over everything. Yep. And Chula, I'm sure, I don't know, like if you can feel this or not, but what all of you should be feeling, as a blanket statement that you did not at the very beginning of this, is that your nose should be so open, like there should be no congestion right now. You think about the human body and the anatomy of the human body. There's no wasted space, right? There's no wasted space. Everything has a function. And I don't know what the exact number is, but there is a giant section of the human skull that is strictly the nasal cavity. And the nasal cavity sole function is to breathe. That's it. It's the only thing our nose is meant to do, is to breathe in and breathe out, smell shit. And the fact that we have that much of our skull structure dedicated to that one organ means we should probably fucking use it. You know, you have a stuffy nose when you wake up, that means you're breathing through your mouth when you sleep. You have a stuffy nose at any point, whether it's from a cold or whatever, that means you're breathing through your mouth more than you should be. Simple fix to that is what we're doing right now. Breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your nose, pinch your nose, move around, unpinch your nose, and catch your breath with your nose. All of a sudden, you're fucking breathing through your nose, right? Focus on that tongue posture, focus on your spinal posture, and this should get easier and easier. All right, let's hit that 5th set. Nice work, everybody. All right, we are all on our own journey. You know, this fucking motley crew of people randomly signing up to a breathwork session with Crazy Man Mohawk Marty on a whim, you know, because you guys care about yourselves. You know, you are all on your own journey of mastering yourself. Right? And breathing is something that I deemed as important for myself, and I asked you to trust in me on this. What I want you to feel right now, you guys just finished up that 5th set. What's happening inside your own brains is you guys have increased blood flow to your brain right now than you did prior to these 5 sets of breath holds. When you limit the amount of oxygen that you give yourself, coupled with movement, it can be traumatic in a sense, right? What we're about to do is crank things up a notch. And it's going to be a little bit more traumatic than what we just did. Not in the sense of trauma emotionally, not in the sense of trauma physically, but in the sense of your body's going to be like, what the fuck, bro? Why are you doing this to me? Right? You can either just be like, I trust you, Marty, let's fucking go. Or you could be like, maybe this isn't for me, you know, this is fucking hard. But regardless, it's scientifically proven. You know, you don't have to take my word for it. I can give you guys the resources if you want. But personal experience above all else, this shit changed my life, man. Completely changed my life, 180. Here's the deal. This next round, inhale, exhale, pinch. You're going to walk. As it starts to get uncomfortable, you're going to jog. Okay? So walk, jog, all right? And then as you need to breathe, you let go. So we just pick up the intensity to that jogging level while on a breath hold. So start your breath hold on a walk, completely relaxed. When you deem for you that this is getting uncomfortable, pick it up to a jog and maintain that jog until it gets your level of what the fuck am I doing right now, and stop, unpinch. If you keep going to the point, again, same as before, if you keep going and you push through that jog to the point that you take a breath through your mouth, then you went too far. So there is a cutoff here. All right. So it's walk and then jog on a breath hold. You don't need to count your steps here. Don't worry about that. This is all on subjective comfort level. All right. So whenever you're ready, in and out through the nose, pinch, walk, and then jog. Casual on the walk. As it gets uncomfortable, pick up to that next pace. And again, at the end of this set, 6 breaths, minimal breathing. Control your body's urges. It's going to contract. It's going to freak out a little bit. Control it. Tongue posture, back posture, wiggle your toes. Relax your body. 6 breaths, minimal breathing. And then we return to normal breathing for 12 to 18 breaths, which of course, I'm not going to give you guys because I'm a dick. You guys are crushing it. This is exercise 9 of 10. All right. We're crushing it. For the sake of your guys' time, I'm going to blend 9 and 10 together. We're going to do one more set of 9, and then we're going to do 3 sets of 10 to finish out a set of 5. Okay. So give yourself another 2, maybe 3 breaths of completely relaxed, functional, light, low, and slow breathing. And then when you're ready, hit that second set of walk to jog on a breath hold. Six breaths, minimal breathing. Take in a little bit, hold it. Let it out slow. Take in a little bit, hold it. Let it out slow. Use your own mind to relax your body and bring yourself back. Prolong those effects. That hypoxic effect is very, very unique. It's something that we only experience when we're running a full speed sprint or we're doing weird breath hold reps with Mohawk Marty. All right, so like I said, I'm going to blend the last exercise together here. So typically what we would have done is 5 of those. All right, but we're going to do 3 more sets of something very similar with an added factor of all-out effort. Okay, so these are walk, jog, run. It's the same idea. In, out, pinch, walk when it gets uncomfortable, jog when it gets a bit more uncomfortable, sprint. If you don't have room to sprint, do a couple jump squats. Give me at least 1 rep of something explosive, something with full all-out effort, and then immediately bring yourself back. Again, same idea. If you finish this set and you unpinch and you breathe in through your mouth, you pushed it too far. There is a cap. All right, so know yourself. All right, this is probably brand new for a lot of us. When you start to hit that point of complete what the fuckness, just end it. Just end it. But make sure you get at least a rep or 2 of full speed jump squats or sprinting before you unpinch that nose. All right. Whenever you're ready, casual in. I know I'm talking all hype now. Don't let that tense you out. Relaxation over everything. Six breaths, minimal breathing. Prolong the hypoxic effect. Don't take in as much air as your body's telling you to. Use relaxation. That is your biggest tool. All right. So obviously that's got a different vibe to it, right? That's kind of fucking weird. You're doing a jump squat in your room or you're sprinting around in your freaking back deck without breathing. It's weird. I get it. When you think about holding your breath, my whole life I thought of and then eventually right before my fucking clarity completely disappears because I'm getting lightheaded, right? For those of you that know about Wim Hof breathing, that's a very beneficial and amazing tool. It's not teaching functional breathing, however. It's a quick hit that changes your biochemistry, and it's very useful. But then what do you do the rest of the day? Right? What do you do when you sleep? What do you do when you train? Right? I am concerned with longevity. I want you all to live long, happy, healthy, productive, fulfilling lives. That's what this is all about. Right? So you fix your breathing, you immediately become a better version of yourself. All right? Negative breath holds. That's what we're doing right now. Inhale, exhale, hold. It's traumatic, yet are any of you lightheaded right now? You're fucking there. You are with it right now. This is you, right? Simple exercise you're doing right now is the quickest way you can clear your nose and come back to reality. Give me 2 sets of this. Take you fucking 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes out of your day to do this, even just 2 sets, ideally 5, and you'll be a different, better version of yourself. Guarantee it. All right, let's hit that 4th set here. All right, push it on this one. Go into your jog a little sooner than last time. Pick it up to a run, then pick it up to your sprint. Whatever that means for you. Good shit. 6 breaths, minimal breathing. Relax your chest. Relax your belly. When in doubt, prolong your exhale. Slow down your exhale. Make your exhale last longer. If you need to wiggle something, wiggle your toes. You need to clench something, clench your taint. Okay. Peace of mind. That's what we're all after. Find that yin and yang, man, that balance. Push yourself to enjoy the suck, yet you enjoy the little things at the same time. This is it, man. We're fucking living. All right. When you're ready, let's hit that 5th set. Hit that all out level sooner this time. Give me a couple reps in that all out. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Push it, push it, push it. There you go. Good. 6 breaths, minimal. In, hold it, slow out. In, hold it, slow out. In, hold it, slow it down on the way out. Bring your mind back to that balloon reference. When you fill that balloon, it takes no effort to deflate it. Just let go. 6 breaths, minimal breathing, and then you're back to functional breathing. All right. Congratulations, guys. You just completed Crazy Mohawk Marty's 10-step breathing course. So check this out, boys. I have a bonus exercise here. Breath hold sprints, okay? 20-yard increments. What we just did is a ideal way to warm up for it, all right? For those of you training right now, more so Toru and Mark, I would definitely suggest, if you can, before you finish this training session, I'm going to end the meeting before you have the chance to do it. Before you finish this training session, get this set in. Pops and Chula, if you can, that's great. Breath hold sprints for 20 yards. So no pinch and casually walk and then build up. It's breathe in, breathe out, pinch, or just stop breathing and sprint all out for 20 yards. Okay. It could be 40, but we're going to say 20. When you get to the end of that 20-yard, your sprint is over and you breathe normal. So for every working set, for while you're working, you're not breathing. And Chula, this actually just dawned on me. I'm going to send you an article about this particular breath hold sprint. They did it with rugby players. It's a really interesting study that they did. That, you know, with the resources that I'm given as an instructor of this technique, a lot of times what they suggest is, you know, make sure you give something that that person can relate to, and that is really that they're already interested in. Like for example, I gave my younger sister a resource in relative to yoga. So, you know, it's all relative to what we're already passionate about, but I'll definitely send that to you just because you'd be interested in it regardless.
Thank you.
So the bonus round for you guys after I end this would be 5 20-yard breath hold sprints. Pops for you, that literally could be from one length of the deck to the other, you know, at something close to all out effort. But
I could go down.
You guys, what's that?
I could go down to the beach and pull it off.
You don't ask men out here. All right, so I think we'll kind of just end it there, guys. You know, I appreciate you all taking the time to do this and you know, putting your faith in me and actually listening to my instruction, and then also taking it seriously. You know, like this is last thing I'll say is the human body can live like 3 weeks without food. Okay, now think about how much time and attention you've put into what good versus bad nutrition is, right? And all the information that's out there about what's good for you and what's bad for you, and macronutrients and this, that, the third. The human body can live 8 days without water. You know, how many times do you focus on your hydration, right? Whether you're a coach or an athlete, you know, all this attention goes towards nutrition and hydration and rest and recover and all these things. The human body can live less than like 10 minutes without oxygen. Yet how much time and attention have you focused on your breathing and the volume of air that we breathe? I think it's sometimes we focus on air quality. Okay, I want to get, you know, I can tell this is shitty air quality. I want to get some fresh air, this, that. But what about the volume? Now, that's what this is about. On a day-to-day level, creating breathlessness through minimal breathing is the absolute key. The absolute key. I made the mistake of building it into my training, doing breath hold sprints, going all out with it right away, yet I hadn't mastered breathing at rest. So some of the changes I was looking to make took me longer to make those changes because I wasn't breathing functionally while I was writing out emails, reading, watching TV, going on a walk. The simple day-to-day activities, you know, that's the beauty of this. I'm not asking you to take an hour out of your day from everything else that you do to focus on breathing. I'm asking you to add it to your workout, add it to your walk, add it to your reading session, add it to your meditation. You know, learn to create breathlessness through light, low, and slow breathing. And that's it, man. And you just build. You just feel better and better and better every single time you do it. So that's my spiel. You guys all feel good?
Feels great.
Yeah, I feel solid, Marty. Appreciate you.